Welcome to the Bird Podcast. I'm Shobha Narayan. In episode 28, we interviewed Dr. Samira Agnihotri about bird song and her work with the Solega tribals of the BR Hills. This episode is based on a recent trip there. The Biligiri Rangana Betta means hill in Kannada, is part of the BRT Wildlife Sanctuary or the Biligiri Ranganatha Swami Temple Wildlife Sanctuary. And yes, there is a Ranganatha Swami temple there. This is at the border of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu and acts as a bridge between the eastern and western Ghats. So it's a unique ecosystem with flora and fauna from both the eastern and the western Ghats. The Kaveri and the Kapila rivers flow through here, and it's a luscious, beautiful forest. In Dr. Agnihotri's podcast, she speaks lyrically about how the Solegas have a very intimate relationship with the forest because they believe that it's a living, breathing thing that they have co-evolved with. So they feel part of the forest. And you all should listen to episode 28 to hear her describe how the Solegas live with the land. So now we come to the question that everyone is asked when they have visited a forest. What did you see there? And I find that memory with respect to sightings of species is very interesting because you remember the unique and spectacular sightings that you have seen. On our trip, the Leges hawk eagle sighting that happened on the first day is etched in my memory because it was a lifer for me. In terms of identification, the Leges hawk eagle, that is spelled Leggee', its ID is very simple with respect to the changeable hawk eagle or the crested hawk eagle, which looks very similar. The Leges hawk eagle has horizontal bars on its chest as opposed to the changeable hawk eagle that has vertical bars on its chest. But while raptor sightings are magnificent and memorable in a forest because somehow you feel you're seeing these birds in their own habitat, we saw plum-headed parakeets galore, a variety of kingfishers, both the common and the white-throated kingfisher. And while I don't have the long lenses that make for memorable photographs, my friend Paula Mariwala, who accompanied me on this trip, did, and so these are her photographs. The thing about being a birder is that you get excited in the forest even if you don't spot a tiger, which we didn't. We saw flamebacks busily climb up trees. We saw beautiful wagtails, a scarlet minivet male. We saw drongos playfully chasing each other and doing their thing. We saw an imperial pigeon. And we saw a blue-capped rock thrush that sat and posed for us for what seemed like 15 minutes. In terms of charismatic mammals, we watched a handsome young male tusker stand for what seemed like hours in the middle of the forest, chewing on leaves from a dead tree. We also saw a sambar deer that stood high up on a ledge in the horizon. I don't know if you can see it in the video, but there it was way up high. We had a close sighting of the Indian giant squirrel, and I observed its earrings that fell all the way to its claws. I learned that it was arboreal, diurnal, and fairly solitary except when it was breeding. And now to the main part of the podcast, the close relationships that the Solegas share with the sacred Sampige tree or Magnolia champaka tree that is stated to be 700 years old. Our thanks to Mrs. Rohini Nilekani and Dr. Siddhappa Shetty of A Tree or the Ashoka Trust for Research in Ecology and the Environment for facilitating this. We will hear from Kumbe Gowda, who will explain to us about this Dodda Sampige tree and why they consider it sacred. After his explanation, I will translate.
ಬಂತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬ ಹಿಂದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಭೂಮಿ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಾದಾಗಿಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಕತೆ ತುಂಬ ಹಿಂದಿನವರು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ತಂದೆ ತಾತ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಭೂಮಿ ಸೃಷ್ಟಿಯಾದಾಗ ಮರ ಗಿಡಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆವಾಗ ಈಶ್ವರ ಮತ್ತು ಪಾರ್ವತಿ ಬರಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದೊಂದು ಸಂಪಿಗೆ ಗಿಡನ ಇಟ್ಕೊಬಂದ್ರಂತೆ. ಇಟ್ಕೊಬಂದಾದಮೇಲೆ ತಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ವಿಶ್ರಾಂತಿ ಪಡೆದ್ರಂತೆ ಈ ನದಿ ಪಕ್ಕದಲ್ಲಿ. ಆಗ ನದಿ ವಿಶ್ರಾಂತಿ ಪಡೆದ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಮತ್ತೆ ಮುಂದೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಆ ಗಿಡನ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಬಿಟ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಸುಮಾರು ದೂರ ಹೋದ್ರಂತೆ. ಸುಮಾರು ದೂರ ಹೋದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನೆನಪಾಯಿತು, ನಾವು ಸಂಪಿಗೆ ಗಿಡ ತಂದಿದ್ದೀರಲ್ಲ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಎಂದು ಪಾರ್ವತಿಗೆ ಅರಿವಾಯ್ತಂತೆ. ಮತ್ತೆ ವಾಪಸ್ ಬಂದು ನೋಡಿದ್ರಲ್ಲ, ಆವಾಗ ಎಷ್ಟೋ ದೇವಮಾನಗಳು ಋಷಿ ಮುನಿಗಳು ಇವೆಲ್ಲ ಮರದ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ಮರ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೆಳೆದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಳಗಡೆ ವಿಶ್ರಾಂತಿ ಪಡೀತಾ ಇದ್ರಂತೆ. ಬಂದು ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇಷ್ಟು ಜನಗಳಿಗೆ ಇದು ನೆರಳಾಗಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಪರವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ ಇಲ್ಲೇ ಇರಲಿ ಇದು ಹಾಗೇನ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅವ್ರು ನೋಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಹೋದ್ರಂತೆ. ಇದು ಹಳೆ ಕತೆ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದು. ಹಂಗಾಗಿ ಕಲ್ಲುಗಳೆಲ್ಲ ಲಿಂಗಗಳಿದೆಯಲ್ಲ ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಋಷಿ ಮುನಿಗಳು ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಲ್ಲಾಗಿರೋದು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಹಾಗಂತೇಳಿ ಇದರ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಮೇಡಮ್. ಇದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
When the universe was created, there were no trees. Then Lord Shiva and Parvati came from Mount Kailash carrying a Sampige or Magnolia champaka tree to this spot. They planted the tree and rested under it. Then they left and had gone quite a distance when they realized that they had left behind the Sampige tree. When they returned, they found a lot of rishis or saints resting under the tree. How beautiful is a religion that venerates a tree and has done so for 700 years. The Solegas have other sayings as well. For example, they believe that a blue-bearded bee-eater indicates that a beehive is nearby. And in episode 28, Dr. Samira talks about songs in which they speculate about the colors of a red-vented bulbul. This close relationship is epitomized in a song that Kumbe Gowda is singing here. It means, my beloved Sampige tree, please protect me.
ಹೀಗೆ ನನ್ನೊಡೆಯ ಕಾತು ಕಾಪಾಡಿ ಮಡಗುನಯ್ಯ.
ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ.
ದೊಡ್ಡ ಸಂಪಿಗೆ ನಮ್ಮೊಡೆಯ ಕಾತು ಕಾಪಾಡಿ ಮಡಗುನಯ್ಯ.
After that profoundly moving song, which basically says, respected tree mother, please take care of me, we moved to jungle lodges and resorts where we were staying. Narayan is a naturalist at jungle lodges in BR Hills at Kegudi camp. I had a question for him on, he's very good at spotting birds, animals, butterflies, everything in the forest. So I asked him, how do you ಯಾವ ಥರ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ?
ನಮಸ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಫಸ್ಟು ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಮುಖ್ಯ, ವೆರಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್. ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಥರ ಸೌಂಡ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಯಾವ ಥರ ಕಾಲ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ನೋಡಬೇಕು. ಫಸ್ಟು ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸೈಲೆಂಟಾಗಿರಬೇಕು, ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಪೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ. ಸೊ ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ ಬಂದರೆ ಅದು ಯಾವ ಕಾಲ್ ಅದು, ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲು ಸಮ್ ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸಮ್ ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದರೆ ವಾರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಕಾಲ್ಸ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಬರ್ಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಪ್ರೇ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಅದೊಂದು ಥರ ಕಾಲ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಾವು. ಅದು ರೂಸ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಅದೊಂದು ಸಂಜೆ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಕಾಲ್ ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅದೆಲ್ಲ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅಬ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದ್ರೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಮೇನಾಗಿ ಕಾಡು ಒಳಗಡೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ, ಹೋದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾಯಿದೆ ಅದು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟಿವಿಟೀಸ್ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ನೋಡಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಒಂದು ಡಿಯರ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ಆರಾಮಾಗಿದ್ದರೆ, ಸೊ ಆ ಸಮಯ ಆ ಪ್ರದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ಪ್ರೆಡಿಟರ್ಸು ಏನೂ ಇರಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ನು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಅಲರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾಗ ಏನು ಸಮ್ ಡೇಂಜರಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ, ಇನ್ನು ಟೈಗರ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ಲೆಪರ್ಡ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು, ವೈಲ್ಡ್ ಡಾಗ್ಸು, ಸಮ್ ಟ್ರೈಬಲ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ಲು ಓಡಾಡಿದ್ರು ಅದು ಕೊಡುತ್ತೆ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್.
And I notice you keep turning your head like this. So what are you looking for? ಈ ಥರ.
ಸೊ ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ನೋಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ರೋಡ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಓಡಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದರೆ ಯಾವುದೂ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಲ್ಲ, ಬಂದರೆ ಗೆಸ್ಟ್ಗಳಿಗೆ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡುತ್ತೆ ಅವಾಗ. ಸೊ ಮರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಲೆಪರ್ಡ್ ಸಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಕಿಲ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಮರದ ಮೇಲೆ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಅದು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಬರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ.
And as you said, first you become silent, Allah. No. What he said in his lyrical way was that you enter the forest and you have to be silent, by which I think he means a state of relaxed alertness. He constantly turns his head left and right and up and down, because he says sometimes the predator like leopards can carry their prey up on the trees. He also says that once you enter the forest, you have to immediately grasp the ecology of the forest. Are the spotted deer relaxed, which means that there is no predator around. If they feel and look alert, then you have to watch out for the predators. What type of calls are they giving? Because he says there are different calls in the evening before they go to roost, different calls for warning, different calls for when they are relaxed. So, but the most important thing he says is patience. So we left BR Hills with full hearts and a lot of sightings, and this is a beautiful, precious space that it's on us to preserve forever. Bird Podcast is produced by Ullas Anand and Echo Edu. I'm Shobha Narayan. We thank Paula Mariwala for her photographs, L. Shamal also. We thank Rohini Nilekani and Dr. Siddhappa Shetty for facilitating this episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching.